All right, folks. Hey, nice to see you again. Thanks for stopping by over at the Renegade Butcher Show. We are at episode 44. I'm streaming this on YouTube and Facebook and all the fun places, but I'm also simulcasting over to Nostr Nests. So we get the audio side of that over there. And if y'all want to look at my not so smiling face, you can see me over here sitting in the car on all the regular platforms. So today, I have a few updates and things I want to share. I could have done another episode just bringing Kyle on, but he's getting enough airtime right now. I want to do some just me shows. Anyways, here we are. I wanted to talk a little bit about temperature control and coolers and stuff this week because that's been very relevant to my life right now, but also just updates on things that I have going on. So appreciate everybody who has popped in and taking the time to sit down and listen to the old Renegade Butcher. I'm still planning that 50th episode giveaway. So that is going to be coming up. Like I said, the deal still is the big prize of the year free of Seasoning of the Month Club will be on the table if we can get the YouTube subscribers up to 1,000. Got a long ways to go, folks. You better get on that, get sharing it. I think we could do it. We got 6 more episodes to go. So I should have to hit that sometime here in May, and we'll see how that goes here too. So if you guys haven't, if you've been living under a rock, I've been super involved with Nostr lately whenever I'm not cutting meat and doing things related to that. So doing a lot of marketing over there, a lot of talking with folks over there. It's been really cool. It's kind of scratching that itch on the technical side of things for me. And it's been a great place to kind of promote things. And I've been selling seasoning and stuff over there left and right, some merch and stuff like that. So I've really enjoyed it. And you should definitely check it out. It's kind of geeky and everything right now, but it's a great community. That's why the Nostr Nest, which is a audio chat platform, I've been trying to integrate that too. So I think after last week, my plan is going to be to do one. Hey, Kyle, glad to see you over there in the comments. I think my plan is going to be doing one dedicated Nest episode once a week. I'm not sure exactly which day. It'll be whatever day works out based on the rest of the stuff in my regular life and work and everything like that. But yeah, so Tuesday nights, I'll always be doing this show here, 6 p.m. And then, hey, Robin, glad to see you again. We'll be doing this 6 p.m. Tuesday night every week. That's always going to be the plan. I usually sneak in some kind of a weekend episode too, or like an extra interview or whatnot if it didn't work out for being a Tuesday night. I'm going to try to do one at least hour Nest, just audio podcast that's done in the Nest. Maybe I'll stream it. Maybe I won't on the video side, but it'll always go up on all the audio podcast players. I did have a little kerfluffle the other day. Friday, Kyle over there in the comments, he and I were on a Nostr Nest, a big 24-hour one that was put on by some of those guys over there. They did an excellent job with it. And I should see who's all over there. Yep, I see some familiar faces hanging out in the audio. We'll bring some guys up on stage here later. But they did a really awesome 24-hour Nest. It was a bunch of different people in the community and developers and all kinds of stuff. And somehow a couple of butchers ended up in the second slot and talking about something a little bit different. We recorded that. Thankfully, they recorded it on their end in the room and kept track of that. But I recorded it on my end and still figuring out how to share everything between the video streaming and the Nostr Nest. I had half the conversation muted. So I didn't even know until I had it up. I ended up having to take the episode down because it was just almost unlistenable. It was just me talking and then long periods of silence. I finally got that clean audio uploaded. I got the backup copy over. So that is out if you want to catch up with it. I believe it's episode 42 or no, it's 43. It's the last episode. It's out. The video side, I'm not going to delete it, but it's kind of weird. You're going to see that there's half the conversation missing. But the audio side, it's worth checking out. And it was a good conversation. We ended up talking a good bit about our background, good bit about butchery. And then, had a lot of folks that aren't really homesteaders or aren't really involved in the process. So we have a lot of questions from newer folks, which was great. We ended up talking about cast iron pans, a good bit of it. So Yeah, that was fun. I hope they do it again, and I will hopefully be able to be involved if that is the case. Let's see here. Anything else going on? Oh, yeah. So it is close to the beginning of the month, guys. Well, it's May 2nd now. So middle of the month is when I'm planning to ship all of my seasoning of the month orders. If you want to get in on that, I know I've mentioned it in Telegram a couple times. I don't want to harp on y'all, but if you're interested, now is the time to get signed up and let me know. That way I can make sure I make enough of what I'm putting together and get it out to you and get you ready to roll. We've got the monthlies, we've got the yearly if you really want to save some money, and that's try to make it easy. If you want to pay with crypto, just let me know. I've got to take kind of take care of it on the back end, little back alley deal. You know what I mean? But we can get you hooked up. Anyways, let's see here. What else do I have to cover as far as new stuff? Nothing really new with the coffee and everything, but if you want to check that out, I did add a domain name. You can go to renegade.coffee. That's right, renegade.coffee, and you can buy my coffee. Super easy. Easy to remember, too. And I shipped out some of those whiskey glasses. Oh, I should mention that. So I had that food freedom flag with the eat free or die, all that fun stuff. I had those printed on shot glasses and whiskey glasses. Well, the print house that makes them for me shipped a pair of them to a friend of mine, and one ended up showing up broken. I felt terrible about it, but the good thing is I let them know, and within 2 hours they got back to me and says, "Oh, we're sorry about that. It's not the service we want to offer." And they are immediately they're rush printing another one and shipping it out on them. So no problems there. Very glad. That makes me feel a lot more confident dealing with them because stuff happens, especially if you're shipping fragile things. I'm sure somebody's delivery driver played kickball with the box, and it is what it is. So, or maybe James was driving that truck and having some steering issues. Who knows? Anyways, what's been going on with me? I've been battling cooler issues. I know I talked about it on Kyle's show the other night. If you haven't checked it out, backyard. I almost said backyard butcher. Wow, get the wrong butcher. We have too many. We have backyard butcher, backwoods butcher, renegade butcher. We need to get us all three on a show together one time. Anyways, backwoods butcher over here. He kindly had me on his new Meet the Critters podcast the other night. Was it Saturday night, Kyle? I think, and that we had a good little chat, about an hour and a half, which is about average or conservative based on our discussions. And just a little bit about me, a little bit about a butchery and all that fun stuff. So check that out. Usually I have the link down here in the show notes, or you can go back to any episode that Kyle's been on and you can find his stuff. But Backwoods Butcher 603 on YouTube and all the places. He's on Nostr as well. Anyway, like I said, as far as cooler things, the main shop that I do my stuff at, the customers own the property and own the shop. I just get to use it for what I do because it benefits them. It benefits me. I get to use it for wild game and things like that. It's a good arrangement. But the cooler was acting up, so I was helping them out with their private beef. Hey there, Sergio. Glad to see you over there in the comments. Just helping them out with the beef that they have. I'll go over and do some education, instructions on how to get things done, which is great when you have a walk-in cooler. It's not so great when after a week and a half of your beef hanging, the compressor starts acting up and thankfully erroring on the wrong side of things and going too cold. But if you don't know, cutting frozen beef and cutting it right, they don't mix, they don't play well. So you can't really seam out beef and separate muscles properly when it's frozen. And it's obviously an issue. Compressor's going to freeze up and stop running. You don't want your temperatures out of sync. So that temperature needs to be what you set it at. So that's been a battle. They had service tech come over. It was a younger, more inexperienced person, and they went to go just change the temperature controller. Figured that was the issue. Turned out not to be. They replaced the thermometer. 3 hours of pulling wire. I had to put my stuff aside and go and help. It was still a problem the next day. Comes back, was working on another issue because he found the fan bearing that was out. Working on that. Leaves. Still an issue. I showed up the next day. I had a bunch of stuff going on at the house on Saturday morning. Just the whole mess. Get there late. Already pissed off because I'm trying to get this done. And I'm talking 20 degrees, frozen solid. So total mess. I was frustrated. I didn't even come back Sunday. Well, Sunday the compressor froze up. Temp started going up. Thankfully, we had frozen meat, so it wasn't really a safety issue. I had to take a lot of it, go and put it in the freezer until I knew things were good to go. And finally, yesterday, midday, we got this thing back up and running and working properly so that I could actually trust it, start letting things thaw back out, and today start working on cutting this other half of beef that I needed to do. I would have had it all done already if I hadn't been playing this game back and forth. So just one of those very, very frustrating last week. What should have been about a day, day and a half's worth of work turned into a week of back and forth, and I'm still not done. I had to wrap it up. I have some round steaks to cut and some grind to get done before I came out here and jump on 2 podcasts. So crazy. I have too many irons in the fire, guys, but that's just what it is. But anyway, in relation to that, I know I've talked a little bit about it on the past in some ways that if you're doing this at home, you can chill and age meat. Well, one thing that's very important, though, is to be very cognizant of what that temperature actually is. And I always recommend that you have a secondary thermometer in a way to actually verify that whatever temperature controller you're using, don't just trust that. Just same with your refrigerator. Pick up a $10, $15, one of those little temp guns. Go check your fridge, guys. Check it in a few spots. If you've got a refrigerator sitting at 60 degrees and you don't know it, and you wonder why all your food's spoiling and molding quickly, and just because that dial's set at 45 doesn't mean that it's reading properly. So be sure to double check, verify. I really recommend, I forget the brand name. It's Ellen Link, I think, or no, I forget the actual name. I'll have to try to find them and post the Amazon link again. I've got them, I think, shared on renegadebutcher.com, and if not, I need to get them up there. BN Link, that's right, BN Link temperature controllers that will switch up to 15 amps, so even old school freezers and refrigerators, it will maintain those temperatures. It just plugs into the wall. You plug the unit into it. It can do heat or cold. So there are folks who use it for maintaining like reptile enclosures and things. You can hold an area at within a degree or two. They're very good for that. I've even used them to control smokers before, electric smokers. So, and they're affordable, like $30. So these things have been indispensable. I keep about a half a dozen of them myself and lend them out as need be. I've had customers that have run large deep freezers and with great success, and we've aged beef in those. So there is that. Now, temperature control starts at the point of kill, though, the point of slaughter. It's very, very important. And I had this discussion with someone recently that they ran into some issues. Do not go out, please, and just slaughter an animal. And then an hour or two later, when you get around to it, start skinning the animal. And then, especially if you're not super practiced at this, you haven't done it a lot, it's going to take you a while. Get on it right away. Because ideally, from the time that you put a bullet in that thing's head until it's in a cool environment where it's chilling down, should be under 2 hours. You start to get into some dangerous situations. You got to realize that meat is at its body temperature to start with. So we're talking mid-90s, right? And if you're in a cold climate, you've got that working for you. But I'm in Texas. It's not much cooler outside 90% of the time. That meat doesn't start cooling down until I get it in a cold environment. Let's see here. What Robin says, she's got an Inkbird that she uses. Yes, Inkbird is a really good set of controllers as well. To my knowledge, now they may have added one. Inkbird doesn't have one that will switch up to 15 amps. They have one that'll switch to 10 amps. That's why I went with the BN links, because I could find the 15 amp, and it's been really good for me. It's also a little bit cheaper than the Inkbird, and it's been reliable. So, but Inkbird is super solid. I have an Inkbird digital thermometer that I use for my smoker, and they make really good stuff. Let's see here. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, exactly. New tech think it's simple and don't spend time. Well, it wasn't he didn't spend the time to search out the problem. He would get it done and off to somewhere else. He didn't even stick around to make sure the cooler was coming down to temp until, finally I was like, you're not leaving here until this works. Either you're not leaving here until this works or your boss is coming to do it, because I'm not losing half a beef over this shit. I mean, I was pissed. He got to see Angry Josh. So things got serious, though. There's a lot of money on the line, and it's not even my animal, Anyways, back to it, though. So you need to get that meat cooled down as quickly as possible. This is why in Texas, so many people put deer on ice, because you don't have much else of an option. I'm not a huge fan of it if you can avoid it. If you've got access to another way to cool, great. But the point is, you want to get that cooled down. If you put meat on ice, it's going to get kind of waterlogged. I would really recommend not doing it with beef if you can avoid it, but sometimes it's the only option. I've done a few ice chest beefs before, and they did turn out well. But typically, you are taking those sections that you want good steaks and roasts out of and trying to move them into a refrigeration after they've fast chilled. Let's see here. Dun, dun, dun. Colby pops in here. Hey, Colby. Awesome. I had some good days the last few weeks to kill some of my pigs and put them in the freezer here in Central Texas. Yes. While it's cool, man, it's a great time to do it. That's another thing. A lot of folks that are in my Telegram group, which if you're interested in this kind of stuff, be sure to check it out. t.me/libertymeatchat. Really, really good place. Really good group of folks. It's like where the base of my podcast is. More discussion goes on there than anywhere else. Nostr's picking up, but Telegram right now is where it's at for the community building. And man, there's so many folks that they don't quite understand the pickle we have down here in Texas. They'll do their butchering when it's cold. They'll leave a carcass hanging out overnight because the outside is a cooler. I mean, we may have a couple of days a year where it's below freezing, reliably. It's not the normal here. Right now, let me see if I can look up on the car while I'm sitting right here. And we are May 2nd, and it is 89 degrees outside right now at 6:16 p.m. So if you are not in a southern climate, you don't get it. I'm not whining. I'm not complaining. I love the climate that I'm in. But I will tell you right now, when it comes to butchering large animals, it's a hurdle. And during the cool months, I'm busy doing wild game. So the majority of time that I am slaughtering large livestock, it's hot out. I mean, sometimes triple digits. So you've got to be quick. You've got to be able to get that done. So I guess the main takeaway from here is not only be sure and verify that however you're cooling that animal is down to temp, double check temperatures. Make sure that you plan this out before you get yourself into a situation where you're going to be doing a home slaughter. And I would highly recommend, if you are raising these animals, just as a backup plan, have that in the back of your mind. If I need to slaughter one of these, what am I going to do? How am I going to do this? Because you don't know what's going to happen. If a cow steps in a cattle guard and breaks its ankle, you can't, and it can't walk. It's either waste that animal or you're going to have to process it yourself. You might get help from someone like me. You might not, but you're not going to take it to a processor. I mean, they could maybe, if you know the guy, maybe they risk getting their business shut down and big fines. If it can't walk, they can't take it legally. Not saying you can't get it done, but don't bank on it. Do not bank on it. You may get stuck doing that yourself. And if you do, thankfully, there's a whole group of people on Telegram. There's a whole bunch of podcasts. There's a lot of resources out there for us. There are people who could walk you through it and help you out. But you don't want to have to figure out your coolant situation at the last minute. So be sure you at least have an idea, because I've helped quite a few people through that last minute emergency type thing where, what do we do? And you got to think fast, it's why I keep a handful of those temperature controllers around, because if they're close enough to me, I'll run out and get them set up and let them use it. I'm happy to let them. But man, it's not always an option for everybody. So another thing, if you do go the ice chest route, like I said, there are downsides to putting meat directly on ice. I would recommend not doing it if you can avoid it. Sometimes it's good to just fast chill it. If you do, try to make sure you have some sort of a rack that the meat can sit up on, so it's not sitting in the bottom of like an ice chest. Have the drain open, have it tilted so that there's no water collecting. As that meat is hot, that ice is going to melt. You want it to be able to drain away that water. You do not want to soak it. You don't want to marinate that. It's not good for it. You're losing flavor. I don't even care if it's deer. We can go down that road of Grandpa used to do it. They used to soak their deer to get the gamey taste out. The gamey taste is you let your meat spoil. That's what that is. It's nothing else. So I'm here to tell you, if you want to handle your meat right, nope, that sounds terrible, but you do not want it soaking. The another issue is it's very rare in a situation where you are forced to put meat on ice that you are in an area or a perfect environment for slaughter where your hands and everything and all your equipment are super clean. Odds are there's probably dirt, maybe even feces on the outside of that animal. Trust me, I've seen a million deer that have been brought to me. And when those deer soak in water, you know what happens? All of that bacteria, all of that contamination just became a soup, and you marinated that deer in the soup for 10 days or whatever you thought was right, because that's what you were told by people on the internet was the right way to handle meat. It's not. Please don't do it. But if you do have to ice that meat, please be sure that you don't have meat piled on meat with ice around it. Make sure there's plenty of room. Same thing if you put it in a refrigerator or a freezer. Every piece of meat needs to be able to breathe, needs to be able to off-put that heat that's held within it. Because if not, you're going to come back and peel apart two big sections of meat and find it green in the middle. Because it stayed hot for too long. It gave bacteria time to actually start propagating on the surface of that meat. It doesn't matter if you had it held in a 32-degree area. I usually shoot for about 36. But it doesn't matter how cold that got. If the middle of that very large section of meat sat there and stayed at 60, 70 degrees for 10 hours until eventually that cold crept all the way in there, a lot of spoilage can happen in there. It'll be slimy, it'll be nasty. It's a great way to get food poisoning. Please do not do that. Robin says, really spoiled. I've seen some spoiled. I've seen some that you just can't quite tell, but that's the dangerous part. When you deal with meat that's been soaking in contaminated water, that bacteria can be there and maybe if not spread and propagated yet, but it could be all throughout that meat. And that's the other thing. If you do the ice chest thing, don't let it sit in the back of your truck in the sun. Make sure you check that ice. Make sure you maintain that level. No, initially you're going to have a lot of water coming out of there. You got to replace ice because you put all that meat inside of a closed insulated box. Guess what? It gets pretty dang hot. So it's just science. It's just science, folks. There's an amazing amount of body heat that comes off of a beef. I'll tell you right now, if you the old place I used to work, our kill floor initially didn't have any temperature control. The first year we didn't have heat or AC, and there were multiple times I'd be out in winter gear, and it's got to be a cold weekend, and we're talking low 20s. I'm outside freezing my butt off, see your breath and everything, and it's a big room, 16-foot high ceilings, like 25 by 25 room. You get that beef, and it's like as soon as you kill it, all the body heat starts to leave. Man, you'd be sweating just working next to it. It's just off gassing all that heat. So it's pretty impressive, but that happens too, even once you break that animal down, especially if you get it done quickly, that heat still remains. You've got to get that out of there. So if, say, you're using a stand-up refrigerator, or you're using a chest freezer or something like that with a regulator to cool this meat, not only do you want space around it and everything, what I like to do is leave the door or leave the lid cracked, not all the way open, but cracked for a while. Monitor that temperature. You're watching that. You'll see the box temperature go up on your digital thermometer on the controller to 70, 80 degrees right away once you get all that meat inside of, say, a big chest freezer. Leave that lid cracked a couple inches and don't shut it until the temp drops below about 50. Usually within an hour or two, it will. It just takes a while for that compressor to fully shed all that heat and get it all out of that cooler. I've had folks that didn't listen to me, and as soon as I left, they shut it. And I asked them, what temperature was it when you shut it? 70, 80 degrees. Well, guess what? They had a lot of spoiled meat. They came out the next morning after 8 hours, and it's still sitting in the high 70s. Well, because you have a very insulated, efficient, sealed box that you trapped a bunch of heat in. So things to look at. If you are ever in that situation, I encourage you to reach out to me and let me know. I will give you some free advice. If you want me to give a full walkthrough and be on the phone with you for the whole thing or whatnot, that's fine. You can pay me for consultation time. But if you just want the pointers of here's how to not screw it up, or if you're looking for, you got questions, shoot them over to me. Come on over to Telegram, get a hold of me. Hey, Rachel Brown, glad to see you. Glad you dropped in. And but yeah, I'm pretty accessible. Let me know. I will try to get you steered on the right path and hopefully help you avoid a situation where you're dealing with a mess or something unsanitary or spoiled meat, because there's nothing worse than putting the work in to try to say salvage an animal that injured itself and then ended up losing it all. So let's see here. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, here we go. Kyle, apparently Rachel shared some of Kyle's stuff to her stupid advisor, and he wants to be a doomsday prepper. Wow. Okay, well, there we go. I don't even know where to go with that one. That's great. Speaking of Rachel, I've not forgot about your question for Jack's show. Jack's been on vacation. If you guys, I'm sure you guys probably know, but if you haven't heard, I'm also on the Survival Podcasts Expert Council. I handle the meat questions and stuff over there. So if you guys have something you'd like to hear on the Survival Podcast related to meat or seasoning, butchery, hell, I'll even throw some stuff in there about lightning or Nostr or whatever. If you have something, a question for me, send it over to Jack at the Survival Podcast and let him know it's for the Expert Council for Josh Renegade Butcher, and I will get it out there. I need to send him some clips. He's been on vacation. Him and his wife Dorothy been out traveling, and I'm glad they took some time off. So they haven't had any news shows, so there's been no point in me sending that stuff over. But I will be recording some stuff this week. So if anybody has questions, be sure to shoot those over to me. Let's see here. Oh, she says her boss's first priority is his bunker. Great. Well, I hope that works out for him. What good is a bunker if you don't have some food stored or a way to defend it, or a lot of things. There's a lot of things you probably should worry about before your bunker. I hope he at least has a little bit of preparation pre-bunker. Let's see here. Anyways, folks, if you got questions, be sure to toss them out there in the chat over there on YouTube and whatnot, or whatever you'd like. Email them to me, hit me on Telegram. I'm pretty accessible, like I said, but I am going to open this up towards the tail end here to the Nostr Nest as well, and we'll bring in live audio from anybody over there who's hanging out, who wants to chat. And I'll try to keep an eye out over here and pay attention to any questions that are coming in. Let's see here. Let me break out. There we go. I should be able to break these screens apart, and that way I can keep track of what is going on here. I want to be able to see both screens. Let's see here. Says she has access to good butchers, but the question that you asked about how to find a good butcher. Yeah, it's very similar to one that I've answered, but I like it. And it's always a good question, because that's the thing. Just because you have access to one now doesn't mean you always will either. So let's see here. Let me just do a little bit of rearranging. And I have not forgotten about you folks listening in on the Nostr Nest. I appreciate you guys popping over too. Let's share that over and go live there. Let's see. Let me bring that up as a full screen. Should be able to do that. And there we go. All right, we're ready to go. Anybody on Nostr Nest that has a question, raise your hand. I will bring you up on stage. Or if you got some you want to toss out there, you just want to bullshit and chat for a little bit, that's what I'm going to do here for the last tail end of this podcast. I've kind of covered most of my stuff, and then like I said, I'll answer any questions that I see pop up over in the YouTube chat and all that fun stuff too. So what you always got going on? Good to see you down there again, Brian from the Lots Project. I just saw you. Spent an hour talking to you over on Lightning for Liberty. And then I see some other familiar faces. Leota, BTC Fiend down there. Good to see you all here. It's not the thing that you've seen on Nostr until recently, topics like butchery or whatnot, but I'd like to include it, do a little bit more. It's been a good reception so far over there. So more people trying to bring more content. If you're not on Nostr, or if you are on Nostr and you don't know what to do, follow that Grow Nostr hashtag. That's something Jack spearheaded, and it's been really great because the focus is everything but Bitcoin. Don't get me wrong, I love Bitcoin. Most people on Nostr do, but you want to hear about some other stuff. You don't want it to be just Bitcoin. See, yep. Sorry, guys. There we go. Woo. Yep. No, it didn't. It wasn't just gone mute. My internet flaked out, and I had to go re-authenticate with the public Wi-Fi to be able to use this. So they make me sign back in every 24 hours, and apparently, I know my 24 hours wasn't at 6:30, but here we are. Here we are. Let me get things shared back again here and get the screen set back up. I had to refresh and log back in, but that does happen occasionally. I appreciate everybody hanging out. All right, here we go again, and we'll get it back on StreamYard there. And this right here, this is why I'm glad that I was recording on both places, because StreamYard won't have lost the audio. I would have lost it if I was only recording with the Nest. So there is that, and here we go. All right, we'll go back to the side-by-side. Anyway, sorry, folks. Sorry I popped out of there. But, all right, yeah, anybody got questions in the Nest, holler them at me, or anybody got questions over here. And if nobody does after a bit, I'll just kind of wrap it up. But yeah, again, let's see what else has been going on with me. Oh, trying to set up Nest on her Android tablet, Robin says. Gotcha. That makes sense. That makes sense. So yeah, if you are confused by what a Nostr Nest is, even if you are not a Nostr user, you can check it out by just going to nostrnest.com, and you'll see the list of current nests, which are basically audio group chats. And, we can pull people on and off of stage and everything like that. It's been a really cool platform. And if you want to find this particular nest, I have it short linked at nest.renegadebutcher.com. It just forwards straight to that nest. And yeah, like I said, I think I'm going to do one audio only, just chat. It's more of like a group get together bullshit session once a week as a podcast as well. I'm not sure which day I'll do it this week. It may be tomorrow night. It may be Friday. I don't know yet. We'll see. We will see how that all pans out. Let's see. What else do I have going on? I already mentioned the seasoning this month. I do need to get working on some new seasoning blends as well. I've had some requests, and I will be adding a couple soon, probably this week, a couple new steak seasoning blends as well. One of them that's going to be a little experimental will be with some really, really high quality, like dark black espresso blend coffee. So that's been requested by my coffee guy, and we're going to trial it. We also have I have the beans and the chili, the coffee chili seasoning, which has turned out really good, and everybody who's tried it has actually really liked it. I saved some back for myself. I need to make another pot of it. I ate chili for like a week and a half. I have to take a break from it every now and again. Let's see here. Like I said, anybody who is new over there on Nostr Nest, you don't have to have a Nostr key to actually get in there and access it. But if you're over there and you're listening and you have something you want to say or a question or a thought, just do the little hand raise button, and I'll bring you up on stage. And it should broadcast it over here to everybody. I've been experimenting with doing it back and forth between the two platforms, and so far it's been pretty fun. It's worked out really well. Let's see here. BTC Fiend is coming up, man. Good to see you, bud. How's it going? You there, bud? I don't hear you. I may have to reboot or refresh. Oh, there he is. Could be him, could be me. I can always come back if it is. Let me refresh real quick and see if I hear you there. Oh, give it a shot. I think I heard something. You there? I heard you on mic. Might be a mic issue on your side. Give me a second. Let me refresh the screen and see what we got. All right, give it a shot now. Let's see what we got. It may have been on my end. Still got you muted. Oh, yeah, he might just be having mic issues on his side. I don't know. There are some bugs occasionally.
I think can
you hear me? There you are. Yep.
I don't know if this is on topic at all with what's being covered on your podcast. There's like a resource to be able to find raw milk. You know,
that's a
website or a message board or an app. Because I'm in Chicago and I'd love to be able to find some, but it's like obviously it's kind of illegal. And
yeah, and it depends so much on your state too. I don't know of anywhere right now that is like across the board wherever you're at. I think a lot of it is kind of just regional because it does vary so much from area to area. If anybody is in the comments, either over here on Nest or on YouTube or whatnot that's watching, that knows a resource for finding raw milk dealers in your area, toss it out there and let me know. But off the top of my head, no. You said you're in the Chicagoland area, though. You'd think you'd be able to find something. I know there's a lot of different like homesteading groups and websites and stuff. You might be able to check out something with freedom cells or freesteading. Those are both decently active communities. I can ask around in my Telegram chat and everything too. Let's see here. Yeah, Rachel says farm share for raw milk. Yes, but how do you find that farm share in your particular area? That's the thing, Rachel. He's trying to find somewhere cow share. Well, it depends. I don't think cow shares, as far as the raw milk, I don't think raw milk at all is legal in the state of Illinois. I may be wrong on that, but Illinois is one of those. It's a hardline state.
I would assume it's not.
Even with the cow share in Texas, raw is illegal. I mean, if you buy raw milk, you're buying it for pet consumption. So it's kind of a weird world. Every state does it a little bit differently. None of them make it super easy, though.
Maybe one more question if you got the time. I'm on a pretty strict carnivore diet. Is there any supplements you recommend I take? Like vitamin supplements or?
So are you eating a lot of organ meats too, or are you?
Just liver, and I take like a organ supplement pills every morning too. That's got like the heart, liver, and that stuff. It's grass fed.
I'm definitely not a medical professional, so I can't tell you.
Yeah, just a recommendation. I mean, I don't know.
I think if you're eating a good healthy diet, and this has always been my feeling, you shouldn't need supplements. There's nothing wrong with supplements. I think they can be very good in the right situation, and maybe some people have certain issues and they need them. But you can always have your blood work done and have things double checked if you're worried about it. But from my understanding, if you are getting adequate amounts of good animal protein and fat, and you're eating liver, you should be in the clear as long as it's a decent part of your diet. The hardest part is getting something like, some of your vitamins like vitamin C and whatnot. But they've also found that people who are actually on a high animal diet, your need for vitamin C is a lot lower. And there is a certain amount of it in liver. So that liver is like a powerhouse for all of those little things that we end up missing. I think where a lot of people go wrong, and I may be wrong on this totally, is they will eat it way too lean and not have enough fat in their diet when they first start switching over to it. Animal fat should probably be 20-30% of what you're eating. I don't do full keto myself. I'm a meat maximalist, but I'm a shit food minimalist too. But no, I probably eat about like 70% carnivore, which is not carnivore. But I would say one really, really good resource to check out if you haven't at all is Dr. Ken Berry. It's Barry. He's got a bunch of stuff on YouTube. He's a general practitioner, and that's his focus anymore. He's a family doctor, but his focus is on what he calls the proper human diet, which is full-on keto carnivore. And he is very, very knowledgeable about it, has a ton of information, a ton of resources and videos, and dives into all the different controversial topics and backs all of his stuff up with data. So, and he comes to a lot of these different events and speaks with folks too. The guy is like built like a brick shit house too. So he's a really good researcher for checking out that kind of stuff. And I'm sure he probably could give you a really good rundown on the nutritional side of it. But my understanding from everybody who does it successfully is it's just eat lots of meat, make sure there's plenty of fat, and put liver in your diet. And if you don't want to eat the liver, add a liver supplement or something.
I actually do both. I mean, I feel great. It's one of those things, like, I was just curious if I was missing out on something I should be doing. It's kind of hard to find resources on that kind of stuff, like supplements and along with carnivore. And yeah, I'll definitely check out Dr. Ken Perry's work. So I appreciate it. Thanks for that.
Yeah, no problem. He's got some really good stuff. Let's see here. Rachel had said that, what does Erin do? Erin's in Illinois. Yeah, I'm not sure what she does as far as the raw milk goes. Definitely worth asking her though. And I'll have to see what she thinks. Yeah, BTC, I'll have to catch up with you again. And remember that if I hear from anybody in Illinois that does have a resource, because I know they're not too far from Chicago, I'll shoot you a message and let you know about that. Let's see here. Anybody else down in the chat or on Nest or whatnot have anything they want to throw out there? Any questions, ideas? Anyone want to jump in, sing us a song? Oh, Tanel's thinking about it there. He might want to come in and sing us a song. No, we'll see if I've got anything else going here, and then I'll wrap it up here in a little bit as far as the podcast recording, and then I'll start my uploads and get all those things going or whatnot. But I'll leave the Nest open here and chat for a little bit until I've got a roll. So I've got about another an hour or so to kind of hang out with everybody. So I'll that's what the protocol I think going forward is going to be, more just get the show out of the way, and then I'll leave Nest in the background as kind of the audio chat and let everybody just do their thing. So if anybody wants to come on stage, just raise your hand. You know the protocol. I'm not it's pretty loose when it comes to these. I'm not really rigid with the way I run these shows. So let me see here. What else do I have up to update or cover? Can't think of anything really. I think I've talked about it all. New blends and stuff I'm going to be working on, getting those out. Let's see here. Be sure to check out, if you are anywhere near or plan on or could be near Tennessee in October, be sure to check out Self-Reliance Festival. I'm going to be there. A bunch of people in the community are going to be there showing up and potentially doing some workshops. There's a bunch of already cool workshops that are scheduled and ready to go. If you know anything about Joel Salatin, he's going to be out there teaching chicken processing. Me and Kyle, if you listen to that 24-hour Butcher podcast, or the 24-hour Nest where we were in there, Kyle, my companion on that, he's going to be out there as well. Brian down here from the Lost Project, you all just heard him if you were over listening to Lightning for Liberty. He's going to be out there. So a bunch of folks, we're all going to be showing up, and I'm sure there's been some talk of maybe some merchandise being sold as well. It's a good time, guys. It's a good time. And there's a Bitcoin meetup going on not too far from there, a couple hours from there, earlier in the week. So who knows? I may just end up spending a week or so in Tennessee. Let's see here. Dun, 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 dun. All right, guys. Well, we're at about 45 minutes. I think I'm going to wrap up the podcast side. I appreciate everybody who has chimed in and was listening, and all of the activity over there in the comments. And I'm going to close that side up and get those up on the air. You can always check out that live broadcast of all this fun stuff over on the YouTube and the Facebook and whatnot. I'm going to leave the Nest active, though. And like I said, anybody wants to come up and chat, go ahead and come up and chat. Anybody over there watching YouTube, Facebook, or whatnot, you don't have to feel left out. You can always pop over to Nostr Nest, even if you don't have a Nostr account. Join in over there and come over and just bullshit. It's just kind of like an audio conferencing type thing. So if you're watching, you can see it on screen there. Right now, I'm the only one on stage. That can change. Anyways, guys, appreciate you all hanging out. This has been episode 44. Once again, be sure to share everything over on YouTube and follow, because if I can get up over 1,000 followers before episode 50, there's going to be the big prize in the giveaway. But there will be a giveaway either way. Anyway, guys, I will announce and let y'all know when the next cool live episode will be, and we'll catch you all later on that.